This is Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. And it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from the Lord shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. And so shall the plague of the horse, of the mule, of the camel, of the ass, of all the beasts shall be in these tents as this plague. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. I want to give all praise and glory and honor due unto Yahawah Basham Yahawashi, Basham Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostle and elders, a great millstone. Another respect to the brothers teaching and preaching the truth all over the globe worldwide. Coming back at you with another lesson. And basically the title of the lesson is going to be the aftermath of the plagues, something to that effect. And it's going to be, Yahweh is going to be a very quick lesson. And this lesson is basically going into the aftermath, per se, when, all the other nations are going to try to fight against Jerusalem, as we read in Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12. And we're going to read again and say, and this shall be a plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. And they're talking about the thermonuclear destruction, the ICBMs, the intercontinental ballistic missiles that's going to rain down all over the world, particularly more so here in Babylon the Great, aka America, because all the other nations had everything to do with our downfall. Not only just Esau Edom, so-called white man, but you also had the other nations that also was in league with him, as you can read in Psalms the 83rd chapter, start from the first all the way down to at least the 8th verse. It goes into all the other nations. Every nation wanted to cut off the name of Israel from our remembrance. But also they also want to physically, cut off Israel. Why? Because Israel is the Most High chosen people, and these other nations they hate the nation of Israel because first and foremost, like I said, we are the chosen people of Yahawah Basham Yahawashi. And they also hate us because they know, that we're, you so-called Black, Latino, Native Americans. You're going to be ones that are going to be ruling over these other nations. Starting with, Yahawah Yahawashi, and you had King David, and then you had the 12 apostles, and then you had 144,000, and then you had all the rest of Israel. That's going to be ruling over these other nations. And, this is gonna, this is gonna be after, after the plagues, man. It's gonna be after, all the prophecies, man. Where you read that, the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast. You have Jacob's trouble. You'll have all types of insurrections and riots. You're gonna have all these things that are taking place, before the thermonuclear destruction. But but then also if you in to all that. Then you'll have Yahawah return with the host of heaven. And what he's going to do, he's going to gather up the elect of Israel. You know what I'm saying? He's going to gather up the elect of Israel. And while he's gathering up the elect of Israel to get them out of harm's way, he also going to be sending judgment upon the earth. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why you can read Joel chapter 3, verse 1, on down, man. It goes into, all the nations that fought against Jerusalem, and we are going to go ahead and get it because Yahawah Basham Yahawashi is going to gather all these nations down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Why is that? Because of these nations that fought against that fought against his chosen people. Let's get the scripture, Joel chapter 3. I believe we're going to start at the top. And it reads, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I should bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem." And what time? The time that, that we were, in bondage, in the time of Jacob's trouble, in the time of, all the, RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast, and when Yahawah comes back with the host of heaven, he's going to take down these other nations. By him taking down these other nations, not only with the chariot fire from the laser beam that comes from chariots, but also he's going to allow those ICBMs, which is intercontinental ballistic missiles, to rain down upon not only Babylon the Great, but also Israel, because those people down in the land, they're not the real chosen people. Yahawah Basham Yahawashi. He's gonna wipe them out so that the land can be clean. But you're gonna have the ICBMs gonna hit other parts of the world. But they're not gonna be as devastating as it will be basically here in Babylon the Great and in the land of Israel. But also at the same time, man, Yahawah is gonna come back. He's going to gather up the elect of Israel. He's going, he's going to free the elect of Israel from out of all these tribulations that coming upon the earth. And as for the other nations, as we're going to read in Joel chapter 3, verse 2, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And these other nations, as in Psalms 83rd chapter, verse 1, through 8, these other nations, they took part, and they took part in that secret council on how to take down the Israelites. These other nations, they took part along with Esau, Edom, to make sure that we didn't remember ourselves, and we didn't remember who we were, and reason why that happened, because we disobeyed the law, statute, commandments of Yahawah Basham Yahawashi. But also at the same token, the other nations, they benefited from it, man. They benefited from our downfall. They benefited for us being scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. That we got discontinued from our heritage, that you read in Jeremiah 17:4. But nevertheless, though, these other nations, they played a part in us being at the bottom. They benefited off our ignorance. That's the reason why these other nations, as well as Esau, Edom, they pray that we don't know who we are, because if we find out who we are, they know that it's gonna be the end of their rulership. It's gonna be end of them, it's gonna be the end of them taking advantage of us, per se. And you see the plays that are going on now. You see the prophecies that are coming to pass, and you also see that the time is speeding up. This is a year of hasten the coming of Yahawah Basham Yahawashi. And these other nations know that, and that's the reason why they're pushing this vaccine, and they pushing the RFID microchip, because Esau Edom want to hurry up and get his new world order set up. You know what I'm saying? And these other nations are going to go into World War III. They're going to go down to the Valley of Jehoshaphat. You know, Yahweh say he's going to plead with them there for his people Israel. When it says plead, it's not talking about, you know, how we think of it, big and all this stuff. No, Yahawah Basham Yahawashi is going to judge these nations for what they done unto Israel, man. You know, he's going to judge these nations. How they going to be judged? First and foremost, they're going to be judged with these plagues that are going on around the world. Then second of all, then most Yahawah Basham Yahawashi is going to allow this thermonuclear missiles to come down and rain, you know, upon, you know, mostly here in Babylon Great, but also Israel in certain parts of the world. They're going to be here with ICBM. You know what I'm saying? Because they got to be judged as well. You know, this world going to have to be judged for its wickedness. And Yahawah Basham Yahawashi is going to judge the world for that, man. And that's really why we read in Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12, you know, the ICBM is going to cause, you know, people to be melted, man. And they, you know what I'm saying, they're going to be melted while they stand up on their feet by them ICBMs and by the blast of the thermonuclear missiles. You know what I'm saying? It's going to destroy this place. It's going to, you know, per se, it's going to end. It's going to be the end all be all for the kingdom of Esau, Edom, because 2nd Ezra 6:9 says that Esau is going to be the end of the world, and Jacob is going to be the beginning of it that follow it, man. And how his world going to end? It's going to end first and foremost by Yahawah coming back with the host of heaven. He's taking Esau, Edom down, well as the other nations, but also the ICBMs. It was going to be the end all be all. You know what I'm saying? That's going to destroy America, Babylon the Great, and that's also going to purge out those people that are in Israel, so that the land could be cleansed. All the rest of the nation going to get hit. Some nations going to get hit with ICBMs, but also those that are left. You know what I'm saying? They going to be rounded up, and they going to go into slavery. You know, as it said in the scriptures, because Revelation chapter 13, verse 10 said that, you know, he that leadeth to captivity shall go into captivity, and he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints, and the saints are patiently waiting on this day, man. When Yahawah shall come back and he rain down upon his enemies, man. You know, those that hate Israel, you know, they're really gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? Because in that day, it's gonna be extreme payback, you know, for Yahawah for the host of heaven. And, you know, also the elect of Israel, they gonna get some payback as well, man. You know, get some payback on Esau, Edom, as well as these other nations that participated in the downfall of the Most High chosen people, man. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be ultimate payback. And these nations are going to be rounded up, and they're going to be put into slavery. And if you don't believe it, let's read Isaiah chapter 14. And we're going to start at the top. The point is in verse 2. You know what I'm saying? The point is in verse 2. You know, and it reads, "For Yahawah will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob." And that's talking about, you know, even though we're scattered throughout the four corners of the globe, you're going to have Israelites that's going to look like the other nations. But their seed line going to go back to being an Israelite. But, you know what I'm saying? You are who your father is. But, you know, that's rough. You know, that's neither here nor there. But let's read verse 2, Isaiah 14:2. And it reads, "And the people shall take them, bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressor." This is going to happen in the kingdom of heaven. You know what I'm saying? This is going to happen in the kingdom of heaven. You know what I'm saying? when Israel is going to take captive of all the heathen nations that are around about them, man. You know, those that are left out of the thermonuclear missile, you know, quote unquote, the rich elite bankers, man. They're gonna be the first fruits of slavery, you know, as well as those that survived the thermonuclear destruction and survived Jacob's trouble and all these other things that are not Israel. They're gonna be rounded up, and they're gonna be the first fruits of slavery. They're gonna go into slavery, and they're gonna be building up the kingdom of heaven. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be building up the kingdom of heaven. You know what I'm saying? And the scripture told that we're gonna be ruling over our oppressors, man. You know, we're gonna rule over those who held us captive. And who held us captive, you know, first and foremost is Esau, even so-called white man. But you know, the other nations also, you know, they benefit off our captivity as well. So they don't get a free pass. You know, you might well say they also held us captive too, because they knew who we were. They knew that we was the most high chosen people. But you know, yet they did not, you know, say they did not tell us. Why is that? Because they knew they would tell us. They knew that they were going back. They were going back into slavery. They going back into that, you know, their servitude state. And so, you know, rather than them telling us who we were, they decided, you know, to be in cahoots with Esau, Edom, and to keep us at the bottom. But you know, they got to have hell to pay, and you see that these plagues are coming up on the earth. You see that Yahawah Basham Yahawashi speeding things up, and these other nations know that they're close to their end, man. You know, that's the reason why you have Esau Edom pushing these vaccines. He pushing the RFID microchip, and he pushing all these draconian laws, because the devil knows that he only has a short time. That's Revelation 12 and 12. You know what I'm saying? He know he's about to come to his end. But Job chapter 5 verse 12, you know, it goes into that he disappoint the devices of the crafty. You know, not only the device of Esau Edom, but also the other nations that join unto him, that sit down in these secret meetings and sit down in these think tanks, and they apply how they're going to keep Israel at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? All the nations that benefited, these nations had to pay. And that's the reason why you see in Joel chapter 3 come to pass that all these nations that fought against, you know, the Israelites against Jerusalem, you know what I'm saying, they're going to come down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. You know, that's the valley of judgment. And Yahawah Basham Yahawashi is going to plead with them there. He's going to judge them there. And that's the reason why you had the brothers tell Jacob, you part of the military, you part of their police force and all that, it'd be strongly advised that you get out of there. Because these people are going to send you over there to fight a war that you're not going to win, man. Because America, Babylon the Great, according to the scriptures, is going to be destroyed. And after the fact, with all this going on in the first, the people, you know, the elite bankers and everybody else that survive, they're not Israel, they're going to go into slavery. And it's going to come to a point, you know what I'm saying, that they're going to have to, you know, bury all the dead bodies. They're going to be a 7-month time period that they're going to be burying bodies, man. And then after they do that, and you know, they're going to be building up the city of Jerusalem, and then you're going to have the babies come back, and they're going to be building, they're going to be in slavery, and this going to go on for 1,000 years, man. It's going to be 1,000-year of hardcore bondage, 1,000 years of hardcore slavery, you know what I'm saying, for these other nations, you know, well as Esau, Edom. But the whole difference is that, you know, the whole difference with that is after their 1,000 years of hardcore slavery, Esau Edom going to be rounded up by Yahawah Basham Yahawashi, and Most High is going to do away with them. It ain't going to be no more Esau Edom. It ain't going to be no more wickedness. But also at the same time, the other nations, they're going to get their land back. They're going to be blessed, but also they're going to have to pay tribute, you know, to the Israelites, man. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to be forced to worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, which is, his name is Yahawah, and his son name is Yahawashi. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be forced to worship, and they're gonna be forced to, you know what I'm saying, come to the they're gonna select it. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be forced to come to the feast of tabernacles. You know what I'm saying? Let's read that in Zechariah chapter 14 verse 16. It reads, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came up against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, which is Yahawah Basham Yahawashi, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. You know, they're going to be forced to do this, and this is going to happen in the kingdom of heaven. This is going to happen in the kingdom. They're going to have to be forced, you know, to worship Yahawah Basham Yahawashi. They ain't going to be going in their own land. They ain't going to be serving their own God. They're going to serve Yahawah Basham Yahawashi. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be worshiping the Lord of hosts, man. They ain't going to be out there doing their own thing. They're going to be worshiping Yahawah Basham Yahawashi. Verse 17 said, and it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, you know, upon them shall be no rain. That's talking about the heathen nations. It's not talking about Israel in this particular point. Why? Because the Israelites, according to the scriptures, the law is going to be written in our inward parts, you know, meaning that we're not going to be able to go off even if we wanted to, which I don't know why somebody would want to, but, you know, I'm saying that we're going to be keeping the laws perfect, man. You know, every law that Yahawah Basham Yahawashi has laid before us in the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna be honored to keep the laws perfect. Because guess what? He's gonna put them in our inward part. That means we're not gonna be sinning. We're not gonna be going off. We're not gonna be doing our own thing. We're gonna be following Yahawah Basham Yahawashi. Even the wicked 2/3, the law's gonna be in their inward part. They gonna understand, and they gonna follow the Lord with their whole heart, man. You know what I'm saying? But these other nations are going to be forced to follow the law, statute, commandments, Yahawah Basham Yahawashi. They're going to have to be taught, because Scripture tells us that we're no longer going to be teaching. Israel not going to be no longer teaching other Israelites. You know, every man not going to teach his neighbor. But guess what? The law is going to be in our inward part, because Scripture said we all going to know him from the least to the greatest. It's talking about among Israel. But the other nations, however, they're going to have to be taught the law, statutes, commandments, Yahawah Basham Yahawashi, and they're going to have to keep them perfect, man. They're going to be forced to keep them. You know what I'm saying? Because the Scripture said they don't worship the King, they don't come to the Feast of Tabernacles, they will not have no rain, man. You know what I'm saying? And also they're going to be plagues that's going to come up because you know, these nations are going to be brought down. And they're going to have to worship Yahawah Basham Yahawashi. This is going to be in the kingdom of heaven. You know, for those who think that that everybody's going to, you know, everybody is going to be equal, you know, that's not going to be the case at all. Because guess what? Israel is going to be the one that's going to be ruling in the kingdom, you know, under Yahawah Basham Yahawashi and King David and the 12 apostles and 144,000, man. You know, the elect of Israel. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, and then you're gonna have the rest of Israel. You know, there's gonna be over these nations as well. But you know what I'm saying? These nations are gonna be forced to worship Yahawah Basham Yahawashi. It's not gonna even be an option for them. They're gonna worship the King, man. You know what I'm saying? If they don't worship the King, they will not get no rain. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know what I'm saying? This is what, you know, the men of the Lord, you know, the saints are waiting on. You know what I'm saying? The men, women, and children of Yahawah Basham Yahawashi, the elect, this is what we're waiting on. You know, the kingdom of heaven, man, because these nations are gonna have to serve the Most High, man. You know what I'm saying? They all gonna have to bow the knee. You know, because Scripture said in the name of Yahawah Mashiach, every knee shall bow. And every tongue shall confess that he is power, man. He is Lord. He is the Lord of lords and the King of kings. Every knee is going to bow. And every tongue is going to confess. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be no question about it. You know there's gonna be Yahawah Basham Yahawashi. There's not gonna be any question about it. In these other nations, they're gonna bow the knee. You know what I'm saying? Even though those claim that they are Jews, they are, you know, the Most High chosen people. Even the Scripture said they're gonna be forced to bow the knee, you know, to Israel, and they're gonna know that the Most High has chosen, you know, you so-called Black, Latino, Native American, man, that you are the true biblical Israelite, because every nation gonna have to bow the knee, not only to Israel, they're gonna bow the knee to Yahawah Basham Yahawashi, man. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to be forced to serve our power, man. They're going to be forced to serve Yahawah Basham Yahawashi with no question asked. And they're going to be forced to keep the Feast of Dedication, the Feast of Tabernacles, you know, every feast day, they're gonna be have to force to keep it. They're gonna keep the Sabbath day. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna keep the law, statutes, commandments, because they're gonna be forced to keep it. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna have no options. If they were trying to rebel and argue, you know, like the Scripture said, they will not have any rain. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be dealt with. You know what I'm saying? According to the Scripture, according to the law. You know what I'm saying? And that's it for a lesson. You know, I pray that this lesson will edify. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor due unto Yahawah Basham Yahawashi, Basham Kakadash. Double honor to the apostle, elders, a great millstone. Another respect to the brothers teaching and preaching the truth all over the globe worldwide. See you again with another lesson real soon. Yahawah and Shalom, Abba Ball, and Kwame Yasharala. Shalom.